Okay. Right. So yesterday we have discussed one scenario, that is separate the data into three files. The file one contains salesman data, and file two contains manager's data, and file three contains other designation data. So here we have used transformer filter stages. Okay. Now we will work on the same scenario by using switch stage. Okay, switch stage is like single column filter. It works with case statement. So in C program, C++, Java languages, we have this concept called case statement. Okay, the same way the switch stage will works here. So it has single input link and 128 output links and one reject link, that is optional. Okay. Yeah, now we can. So my screen looks better, right? Bigger, right?
Yesterday, yes, yeah.
Okay. So here 128 output links and single input link and one reject link, that is optional. So this is about switch stage, and it works on the same functionality in C program. We have the case statement, right? The similar way this switch stage works here. Okay, so whatever the record that is satisfies so the given condition, it will go to the respect output link, and any record if you define as a unmatched. Okay, so like not found in the given cases, that will go to the reject link. Okay, so now let's say sample chart. Let's log into TSS. Okay, so let's go to the exercises where we have left. Okay, so I think yesterday we have covered this. Okay, so let's see here. Just want to recap this. Same input, job managers. Okay, so here you need to choose the column, like which one you want to define. Job column filter. And the cases here I have given, one is salesman, other one is manager. Okay, so whenever the case statement matches salesman, it will go to the salesman output data, and if it is manager, it will go to the manager. Okay, and if it is not found, okay, so then if it is job designation is not of salesman and manager, then it will go to output. Okay, so here you can see job I have given at last. Okay, so if it is okay, so here for rejected link, whatever we have provided from the input data, the same order will follow here. Okay, so you can see here like employee name, all the stuff. Okay, now click on OK. So before that, let's delete the output files. Go to target. Now save, compile, and run this job. Okay, so here you can see the screen like it will turn into black color to green color. That means the job execution got completed. You can see here the salesman data. Okay. And here you can see manager data. So here why manager records are 0, that we need to check. Other records are 0. What is the reason? Okay, so here we have used the concept of grep here. We are filtering the records that belongs to salesman. Okay, so only salesman records are we are getting here. Now I remove the condition. Okay, so that is the reason here I given only in the source file itself. I use the filter. So that is the reason we have only salesman records. So other manager records, it's not reflecting. Why? Because there is no data. Okay, so we are filtering in the source itself. For example, if you remove this filter condition and run the job again, okay. Now we can see the difference, and it will distribute, data will be distributed based on the filter condition. Let's, before that, what I will do is I will delete all the files here. Okay. Now run. Now we can see 50 records has been distributed across all the, yeah, now we can see manager data. Now we can see salesman data into salesman file and others. So here you can see data for the remaining files, remaining job designations. Okay, you can see here clerk, president, clerk, analyst. Okay. So this is the way the switch stage will work. But so here we can filter only on a single column filter. If your requirement is to only filter the data for a specific column, then go for switch stage, so that the performance of the job will improve. Okay. Yeah, right. So now let's move on to another topic, that is DataSet. So any questions, guys? Are we good here?
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yep, we are good.
Okay. So first of all, basically, what is a DataSet? DataSet is like intermediate data storage purpose. We use DataSet. The first one is DataSet has single input link and single output link and no reject link. There is no reject link in DataSet. Okay, so in file set, in sequential file stages, we have seen the rejected records. Okay, so here we cannot, there is no reject link at all in DataSet. Okay, so here DataStage, the data in the DataSet, DataSet, the data will be stored in a native format. So it saves in a binary format. We cannot understand once we see the file. Okay, it's DataStage only can understand. Okay. So here datasets, why we use this, the data loading, and it will be very faster, and majorly for intermediate temporary storage purpose, we are using datasets. Okay. So here we use datasets are used to intermediate data storage purpose. Okay. So for example, I have a requirement like I need to store some data and I need to use refer the same data in another file, another job. So that can be possible. So here by using dataset, we can achieve this. Okay. And to view our datasets, we have tools like datasets. We can view our data in a dataset management. Okay. So here default, how many nodes the data job is running, that many datasets will be created. Okay. So it represented with .fs. Now let's see how we can view the data. Okay. So we can view the data in.
So you said .fs or .ds?
.ds. I said .fs. No. .ds. You can see the output here. Go to source.
And when do we use the datasets? And when do we use this?
Okay, so datasets mainly, most of our scenario or requirement we will use datasets. File sets are rarely used. Okay, so if you're extracting data from a table and you need to store it for a temporary purpose. Okay, so you want to refer it in some other job, the data volume is bigger. Then in that scenario, you can go for file set. Okay, so if it is less than 2 GB, okay, the data volume, then in that scenario, you can go for sequential file or a data set. Okay, so it will be better to use data set so that the data extraction and will be faster, and it also the data will be stored in a secured manner by using file set and data set. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, right. So now let's see the source here. Okay, so guys, you can see, okay, so let me so here we cannot understand what's happening inside here. Only we can understand by DataStage native format. Okay. Now, how we can view the data in datasets? So go to tools. Here you can see the concept dataset management. So here you can see we need to open the file case. Okay, so we have to go to the respective folder. Where is our file is located? It is in source. Okay, so open ds.is format file. Yeah, which one you want to? Okay, so for example, I want to delete node 1, delete on the node, and if you want to view the data, okay, so show data in Windows, all the records or partition records. So it starts with partition 0. Okay, so here data will be stored in partition also. If you want to view all the records here, we can view. Click on OK. So partition numbering will starts with 0. Okay, so this is a database. So in the file, are you able to view the data? No, we cannot view the data in the file. We can view only in the data in the dataset management. Okay, and if you want to delete the dataset, so this is one option. Okay, and what is the other options that we have to delete the data? We can delete the data by using arcadmin command, arcadmin file name and the path, dataset path. Okay, so that is another option where we can remove the dataset. Okay, so here we cannot delete the data directly because why we cannot delete the data? Because it creates 4 files. It creates 4 files. What are those 4 files? Data file, descriptor file, and control file. Okay, so here 4 files will be created. Okay, so you can see those 4 files also. So what we can do is you need to go to this particular So show schema. This is the schema. Copy data set. Delete. This is to open. Okay. So here this can be seen in IBM at the server level. Okay. So what you can do is go to server here and you can see the data set for each operations. Okay. It creates 4 files. Data set. Okay. So now let's do a small this thing.
One question I have. So let's say if I move a file dataset files to a different location and change default APT file.
No. That you cannot move the file. You have to be in the same file only because it creates 4 types of files, right? So that is the reason whenever you execute it there is a path that connects to the Unix environment. Normally, our VM is installed in Windows. So that is the reason here you can see this is the path. IBM information server datasets. Okay. So this job has run 4th, right? We have run this job on 4th. Okay. So you can see our job also. Okay. So let me delete these 2 files and rerun the job. Okay. And here I am deleting all the content. Okay. Permanently deleted. And we have created this FSDS second exercise, right? Now run the job. So once the job gets completed now, here it will create. See here, file set and data set has been created. And the same way, see here 4 files it got created. Okay. Only one file it has the data, but it creates 4 files. Have you noticed that? See, we have deleted all the files, right? It created 4 files here. Okay, it has one header file, control file, descriptor file, data file, all stuff. Okay, so here how we can convert the data? We cannot view the data directly since it's a binary format. So we can view that with the command line. So by using arcadmin command, we can dump the data to a dataset. Arcadmin command dump dataset name, and you have to provide the text file. Okay, so the text file already should be created, and with that we can view the data. We can dump the data in a file. Okay. So this is about dataset. Okay, so now let's do a small exercise. Okay, so before doing a small exercise, I want to introduce. I want you to let you know one concept, that is runtime column propagation. So here runtime column propagation means what? Like even though column names are defined, and the option should be enabled. Okay, so I'm getting some background noise. So just yeah. If you are not speaking, just you can mute yourself. Okay. Yeah. So now, guys, you can let me close this. Okay. So let's take a fresh job. Data set as an input, and here we'll be loading the data into this particular. Let's load into table. Okay. So here you have to provide the path. That's it, guys. Okay. So here data set is this the one. Click on that. And here, in case of any columns missed, what is the option? Default all. If you click on default all, you have to define all the columns. Ignore is the default option where in case if you missed a few columns, it can be accepted. We can view the data. So that is the advantage of this data set. Whereas sequential file set and all, we have to mention all the columns. Okay. So here data set works as a select statement. Okay. So here consider ignore option. Okay. So now you can see. Okay. So we have imported the table definition, right? For file set. Yeah. So this is the one .fs. Click on OK. Let's view the data. See, we can view the data for all the columns. Now close. Click on OK. Now what you can do is drag and drop the columns. Okay. And let's create a file. Let's create a table here. Okay. So we're using database. Okay. So what is a database here? So we can use database connectors. Basically, database connectors generally where we will load the data. Here, database connectors are used like either source or a target. Okay, so here we'll be using connecting database connectors like Oracle, DB2, Teradata, ODBC connector. So ODBC connector for you can use for any DB like SQL server, okay, or Oracle, whatever it may be. You have to make the setup and configuration. Okay, so here we'll be using Oracle, DB2, Teradata. Okay, so what are all the things required? Okay, so the process is same for if you are connecting to RDBMS databases or cloud databases are the same. Okay, so here you can see like we need to have a server name. Okay, and we need to have username and password and account connectivity setup. Okay, so here we'll be using for BigQuery, we'll be using BigQuery connectors and all. We'll be using JSON file. Okay. For cloud databases, so these are the cloud databases. For AWS, Azure, Snowflake, we require server name, account connectivity, account information. Okay. So username and password to connect to that respective cloud database, like it may be Snowflake, Azure, or AWS. Or for GCP, it required JSON file. Okay, so here I will be after our class, I'll be sharing one recorded video like how we can connect to cloud environments, cloud database. You can watch that recording. Okay, and here the default array size and record size is 2000. It can be increased based on the data at source and target. Okay, at source and target. Okay, at source and target. Okay. Now let's see the job. So here we'll be considering the server name Oracle ORCL. Is the server name Scott Tiger 12. Okay. Run the
Yeah,
job
so
during the runtime. Yeah, please go ahead. EMPDS is the table.
so I just missed the. Yeah. So how did you open this one? Like, can you show
Which
me?
one?
This
Double click.
source
That's
one.
double click. That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you got you.
Okay. So you need to check whether that particular table exists or not. Select star from this particular table. Okay. So here if you see, table is already there. Okay. What we can do is, we can drop this table, drop table, table, drop table, table name. Okay. Table has been dropped. Now let's see. So this particular table is not there. Okay. So now we will create the table during the runtime. So here table action we will give as create. So here you can see the array size default is 2000. You can increase based on the data volume. So here it is very, we are handling very less records, that is 15 records. So that is the reason I have given the default this thing. Okay. So you can, if you want, you can reduce. Okay. So if the data volume is more than 1 million or 2 million, then accordingly you have to increase the array size. Array size by record size. Okay. So here we have option unmatched columns you can drop. Okay. And processing warnings into error message. Fatal errors into error message. No, we should not do that, because in case fatal errors you are connecting to a message means, then what happens is your job will run fine, but that leads to a big problem. So I don't want to do that. So let it be no. Okay. So for every memory allocation, there will be blocks will be created at the DB level. Okay. So with that, what happens is the memory space allocation and all it will be taken care. So that is the reason here I have given the option false. And here there is one more feature like before SQL and after SQL. So when I say to yes, what happens is on the before and after SQL here, like basically before loading the data into a table, what we need to do before SQL statement, after loading into SQL statement. Okay. After loading into this SQL statement, what happens is SQL statement after SQL. After SQL, what happens here? After SQL, what happens here? So after data is getting loaded, then the after SQL statement will run. Okay. So now click on OK. We have defined this. Okay. Now click on OK. Exercise 6. Data set to file. Data set to table. Okay. Click on save. Now run the job. Okay. So here job got completed. Okay. So now let's see. Right. Okay. Now I will be deleting few columns here. Okay. So if I don't want all the columns, then I'm deleting hire date manager and commission column also. Okay. Now click on OK. So delete the same thing here. Okay. Commission. Now click on OK. So here, once the table is created, you have to use the replace if you want to use the same table once. Okay. So replace, what it will do is it will drop the existing table and it will create a new table. If you see the logs here, okay. Okay, so here the screen is very minimal. I am opening the log in director. Open the logs in director. Okay. You can see the logs here. So what's happening in the log? You can see the create statement. Okay. So I have come, let me run the job. Run the job. So here you can see the log. See here what happens. First, the existing table has been dropped off and create the new table. Okay. So here I have added only 5 columns. Earlier we have how many columns? 8 columns. You can see here 5 columns. Okay. Now run the job. See, I have created only the 5 columns. Right. So we can use as a work table sometimes this data sets. Okay. So now let's discuss about runtime column propagation. So what is meant by runtime column propagation? So here there is an option here in the data set where here at the bottom there is the option runtime column propagation that is disabled. So here runtime column propagation has to be enabled at the admin level. Okay. So let me close the DS. Even we can also close this particular director also. Let's minimize this DB. Guys, what we can do is like you can open the admin client. Okay. So before that, I want to give overview of RCP. Runtime column propagation is enabled for project level at admin client. Okay. So what is the advantage here? If you don't define the columns names, if you enable runtime column propagation, what happens is it will consider all the columns are present. Okay. So now let's open admin client. Okay. So admin client you can see here. Okay. Admin 123 enter the password. Now click on yes. So here you have to go to the respective project. Where is your project? Our project is located at the analyzer project. Go to properties. Okay. So in the properties, a new window will be open. Here you can see. So here the runtime column propagation option is in disable state. Now click on enable. Now click on OK. So if we click on OK, what happens is, so it will be enabled in director level. Okay, now director and designer level. Now open designer client. Okay. Now click on S. Yeah. We're opening TS. Okay. So you can see the last job that we developed. Okay, so this is the one. Now you can see guys. Here I have created the columns, runtime column propagation option enabled. Now click on OK. And in transformer, we have the same option. Go to stage properties. Okay. So here you can see the stage properties. Go there. Go to output. Here you can see runtime column propagation. Now click on OK. Click on OK. Okay. Now save, compile, and run this job. So we are creating, we have defined 5 columns and we have enabled this runtime column propagation. Okay. So before running the job, you can see the data. How many columns are there? 5 columns. Okay. Now I am running the job now. Job started running. It's completed. Okay. Now we can see the. So why all the columns came, but in our job we have defined only few columns. Okay. Why all the columns came? The reason is here by using this runtime column propagation. Okay. So that is even though if you don't define single column here. Okay. Even though if you don't define single column. Okay. Click on OK. So what I will do is delete from EMP DS. I'll be deleting the data here. Okay. Now let's run this job. So here I have deleted all the columns. I have enabled RCP. Okay. The same exercises. And here I will be adding one column. Runtime column propagation. So here I will be adding one column here. Okay. Load 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 TSC. Load date. Okay. So here I am passing a default value that is default is current date. Go to functions, date and functions, current date. Okay. Now click on OK. What's happening here? Now save, compile, and run this job. So happen here. So here another occurs. Okay, so table action. replace. Okay, so while dropping a table, it encounters error. Drop table. Oh, okay. So let's do one thing. Let's delete this and run the job now. Now run the job here. The object is already existing. Okay. Yeah. So now let's use this as an input. I think we have to mention, you can use RCP, but we have to mention few things, I think. Okay, so just we have to define at least one column. Okay. Okay. Let me enter the load time. Load date. Date. Yes. Okay. Oh, run date. Yeah, it has done fine. Now let's see the data. Okay, so here we have to define the column, at least one column, to add a scrubbing column. Okay. Yeah, so this is the structure. So here what I will do is I'll be creating, I'll be using this table, this as an input. Okay, in my next job. Okay, and I'll be loading the data into another table. Okay. Okay. So this is input. And I will use transformer. So now we are working with databases. Source is the input. So database source is the input. Okay. And target also the same input. Okay. So here copy this. Okay. So here the linking name should not be the same. That is, it was worried. Give the another linking name. PGT. Okay. So here you have to give the different name. Okay. So here drag and drop. How you are drag and drop the connectors. Okay. Select. So entire table I am considering here. Okay. How we can import the metadata? Okay, so let's import the metadata first. Okay. So to import the metadata for a table definition, what we can do is import table definition. You can use ODBC connect table definition or plugin metadata. Let's use plugin metadata. Okay, so ours is Oracle, right? Use Oracle. So here you have to supply ORCL Scott. Tiger 1, 2. You have to pick the owner. Owner is Scott. Okay. Owner table. Click on next. So here you can see EMPDS, this one. Okay. Click on import. You can, whatever the other tables you want to import, you can import. Okay. Yeah. So that has been done. So here you have to load the metadata. So here you can see the plugin metadata. EMPDS already is loaded. Okay. Now click on OK.
So for this metadata input,
Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, so for metadata input, like you did it in the destination, right?
No, I have done in the source. So this is the source. First you have to load it in
Okay.
source, then you have to map it to target. Okay, so here you can see drag and drop. Okay, and click on. So here let's create a new table that is underscore TGT. Okay, TGT. Click on OK. Save, compile, and run the job. Okay, click on save. Run the job. So here the table will be created during the runtime. Okay, now underscore TGT. See, the table data has been reflected here. Okay. So I have a requirement like I need to filter the data. So by using this table, what we can do is generate the SQL during the runtime. Click on no and write here the select statement. select star from ENP, this particular table where department number is equals to 30 department. I need only department number 30 records. Okay. So click on OK. This is the filter condition. You can write the can use join statement 2 to 3 tables. Okay, so the selected field, whatever is there, star means the entire table. Okay, so we can define the same table column names here. Okay, so click on OK. So here the next step is here in the target, use replace, otherwise your job will fail. Okay, now click on OK. Save, compile, and run this job. You can see here out of from source itself, we got 6 records. Now let's execute this. All the records belong to department number 30. So we have given the filter condition in the source itself, right? Okay. So that is the way this filter condition works. Okay. So here we have loaded database to database. Okay, one table to another table, and here we have used filter condition. Okay, so here you can use select field, what and all field you want. And here you can combine 2 tables, 3 tables by using join conditions. And what are the select columns in the select list? So that you have to define here. Okay. So that normally we'll do in the real-time environment. Okay. So that's it, guys, for today. In tomorrow session, we'll come up with file pattern and how to read data for a fixed width file, data type conversion. So that you can see in tomorrow session. Okay. And
So a couple of questions I have. Yeah, if you finish first, I think.
yeah, please. So next batch is well, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead with your questions.
No, I can hold on the question. It's not critical. If you are having next batch, like we'll continue. I'll ask you tomorrow morning. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So before the starting of the session, right, we'll discuss that. Okay. You can post it in the group. I will address the via in a voice note. Okay. So that we can optimize our time. Okay, guys. If you don't have any questions, we'll wind up for today. Yeah. Right. Thank you. So please practice the